Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join me for the Championship preview for round number 20. We have finally made it through, or nearly one to go, the 9 rounds of games over the last 5 weeks. It's been a crazy schedule. Couldn't have kept up without you. So thank you very much. And then our lovely football players who we watch and admire actually get a week off. Unless you play for Brentford or Stoke, because they're in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals that do play, I think, like 2 or 3 days before Christmas as well. So they will still indeed be going. Please let me know. You can see me and hear me loudly and clearly, because we're about to preview each and every one of the 12 championship games in round 20, the last one before Christmas. Before we go ahead and get into each and every game, we must, as ever, say thank you to the Donovan brothers in loving memory of Michael Donovan of South East London. A lifelong Millwall fan and admirer of this show. Thank you to the Donovan brothers. A lovely tribute to their late brother and a great help to the channel. As ever, my plugs read a little bit like this along the bottom. Support via Super Chat, Patreon, or in the Teespring shop. It's absolutely free, though, to hit like and comment and subscribe. I think, have we made it yet? 13,500. We were very close this morning, 1 or 2 away. Put it that way. So we are nearly there. Lovely stuff. Right. Shall we go on and look at this round of games? Indeed, we will go through each team one by one. We will go from the top of the table downwards, as ever we do. And we will try and predict each and every score and result, indeed. Let's start at the top, where we have Norwich up there, 3 points clear of Bournemouth. But look, 6 points clear of Watford. Stop the clocks now. And Norwich and Bournemouth are up. Norwich, who have they got this game week? It's the early kickoff, which, fingers crossed, we will do as a watch along. I'll keep you posted on that. But the plan as it stands at the moment is that we're going to be doing Norwich versus Cardiff, and then we will be doing the Saturday Super Stream straight after. But that can change. Things do change. You can see there, 23 hours away from Norwich versus Cardiff. Get your predictions in for this one. Cardiff still got 4 wins in 5. They had that defeat in the Welsh derby, didn't they, against Swansea. But they came back with a victory in their last game in midweek. Topsy-turvy game, that one, against Birmingham. If we bring the tail of the tape up and we stop it to flatter Cardiff here, it's quite even over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. Both teams in really good form. Cardiff with 5 wins in 6. Norwich with 4 wins and a draw. Obviously, you wind that back a little bit further, and Norwich's excellent form continues back even past then. Look at the 2-1 wins as well. 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1 over the last 4 games for Norwich. We've said a few times they just get the job done, don't they? Ruthless in this division when they are here. Norwich, let's have a look at what you guys are saying. Get your predictions in via the comments. Anir says 2-0 Norwich. Lewis says 1-1 draw. QPR Forever says 3-3. Brad says 2-0 Norwich. Krill should be back. Should be too much. Dasher says 1-1. JL says 3-1 Norwich. Super Neil Harris in charge of Cardiff. Cardiff win. 2-0 Norwich, says Leeds 2020. I can't see Cardiff winning. I'll take that back. I can't see Norwich not losing is the thing. I think Cardiff could score from a set play, or Wilson could create something of that nature. They're going to have Rob Glatzel up front instead of Kiefer Moore. I just think Norwich are really at it at the moment, and the least they're going to get is a draw. And I think they're probably going to go on and win this one to be well top and well on their way to promotion at Christmas. So I am going to go for a home win for Norwich, and all being well, we will do that on the watch along tomorrow. What else have we got in here? 1-1. Norwich keep capping off wins with penalties. Yeah. Norwich's home record and Cardiff's away record are similar. Draw. Dean says draw. Norwich should win, but there may be some tired legs. Yeah, fair point. Could be a tight one. 2-1 to Norwich in the 95th minute. Standard. 1-1. Cardiff to win 3-2. 2-0 Cardiff. Oh, Richard's going. Nice one. Have a good time, Richard. I'm going, so we'll probably lose. There we go. Lee says Norwich another 2-1. Hopefully the picture is all okay and you can all cope if you can't see my beautiful face in completely crystal clear HD. As we go, we'll try and invest more and more in the channel, but we want to keep things free for you guys on YouTube. So you may have to, from time to time, put up with an imperfect picture. Let's move on. Where we go next? Luton versus Bournemouth. Where can I get that? It's very windy here. I don't know if it's very windy where you are. I can hear banging and clattering outside as the wind rustles through the air. There is your table for Bournemouth visiting Luton. Get your predictions in for this one. Luton at home. You can see them down in 13th. Bit spotty over the last 5 games. Win-loss, draw, win-loss. Bournemouth have been decent, haven't they? Really good over the last 5. Couple of high scores in that. Some 3s and 4s and 5s going on the goals scored chart for Bournemouth. They've only lost 2 games all season. They've won 2 less than Norwich, but as we follow our lovely parachute cartel at the top there, the key this season could be, with those 3 teams, is don't come third out of those 3. Else you're going in the playoffs. And at the moment, Bournemouth are in second and 3 points clear of Watford. Excuse me, let me have a drink. Man, that's hot, but I needed a drink. God, sorry. Right, I probably just burnt my tongue and won't ever be able to speak again. There is the recent tale of the tape. And you can see not very many wins in the Luton column. They've managed to beat Rotherham. They got that win over Norwich, but they did play Norwich at a good time where we counted sort of 4 downgrades on the pitch for Norwich at that point. Still got to beat them. They had to beat Preston, though. So they are good at home, Luton. Bournemouth, as I say, are putting the goals on. A 0-0 at Swansea. Should we just bring the away form up for Bournemouth? I think that's more pertinent. Oh, it's good. So there was that 4-0 we did as the watch-along over at Barnsley and a 3-1 at Birmingham with a couple of draws at Swansea and Rotherham, excuse me, since the defeat they had at Sheffield Wednesday. Can they do it? I don't think Luton are going to win this one. I don't think Bournemouth are going to lose this one. I think it's either a Bournemouth victory or a draw. I'm going to go for a draw. I think Luton can be quite good at home sometimes and tricky to play against. Bournemouth have been on a good run. I think they'll definitely score Bournemouth. But I just wonder whether end of this period they might be happy with a draw. Keep things ticking on and keep Watford at arm's length going into Christmas. Shall we see what you guys are saying in the comments. What do we got here? Desmond, 2-2 in that one. Luton are no pushovers. I see a tight Bournemouth win. 3-2 Bournemouth. Think Luton style is perfect for the counter. Okay, yeah. Solid theory. Whiskey in the cup. No whiskey in the jar. Can you see it? Herbal tea. That one. Trying to be good, at least for a few hours of the day. 3-0 Bournemouth. Bournemouth sort of team Luton have had trouble with at home. Often underestimate Luton, but I'll do it again and go 2-0 Bournemouth. Classic. Tough one to predict this. Luton good at home. 1-0 Luton win. 0-1 Bournemouth. 1-1. Bournemouth starting to feel like a bit of a juggernaut. I reckon they'll win this one. Then again, I've got Norwich at top to draw, so it's still them at the top. It would be, wouldn't it? Yeah. I'll go for a draw. Let's see. What does Dasher say? Cherries, 2-0 Cherries. Ray suspended will be a big miss. Glenn Ray, centre half or a central midfielder. He's played both for Luton this season. Let's move on. Next one is Huddersfield versus Watford. Huddersfield versus Watford. Get your predictions in. Watford in third place. Got the draw against Brentford. Some sense things went for them slightly in that game, Watford. Would have been really interesting if Brentford had kept 11 on all game. I don't want to get into the red card anymore. We talked about that to death a couple of days back. But just would have been interesting, I think. We want to know whether anyone, particularly a Swansea, a Brentford or a Stoke maybe, can challenge the parachute cartel. No one's doing it yet, and that was a chance with the landscape set with them all in the top three for Brentford to have a pop, and they couldn't get the win. However, Watford do remain well positioned. 7 points in the last 3 games as well. Huddersfield, you can see down there in 14th position, only 1 point from the last 2, without Karoma now for a few months, who'd been so good for them recently. There's the Watford form. It's decent, isn't it? They don't lose many games. Still a bit of a sense that Norwich and Bournemouth are just a little bit further on in carrying out their manager's instructions. That's kind of understandable because Daniel Farke's been there the whole time at Norwich. Jason Tindall, is he just carrying on what Eddie Howe did and tweaking it? Whereas Ivic is the only one of those 3 parachute year 1 teams that's come in and has got to implement his own style. I wonder whether that is just the head start that those other 2 need. Who knows? How many wins there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a few too many draws in that sort of last 10 games for Watford. They're 4 draws. And they are quite happy to draw away games, it would appear. Am I going to be right about that? Yeah. So before they beat Birmingham, 3 draws in a row there with clean sheets at, Forest, Bristol City and QPR. Is that good enough? 3 points across those 3 games away from home. Huddersfield confuse me slightly. They're sometimes absolutely brilliant, and then they go under when I think they're going to win. They're good at home, though, aren't they? 3 straight victories, score plenty of goals as well. You can see 7 across those last 3 games. They did, however, get absolutely tanked 5-0 by Bournemouth and 0-0 against Coventry in the last game. You just wonder whether Huddersfield just will play right into Watford's hands and Watford will sit in and just pick them off. They'll be slightly too open. I think that might happen. I think Watford can nick this one here, despite some predictive information telling us otherwise. I'm going to go for an away win. Watford to get the away win. Let's have a look and see what you guys are saying on this one. 0-0, 3-2 Watford, 2-1 Watford, 2-0 Watford, draw. Chris has gone for a draw as well. Scoring draw says Bart. Josh with a 0-0. 2-0 Watford. Huddersfield seem to have gone off the boil. 1-0 Watford. 2-0 Watford. 2-0 Watford as well. Huddersfield too open. So a few people sort of agreeing with my hypothesis there that it's a good matchup for Ivic, this one. Slightly less talent in the playing squad and a slightly open system. So we'll see. Huddersfield will probably completely prove me wrong. Remember, I predicted that Borough would be able to do what I've just suggested Watford can do, and Huddersfield won that game. So ready to be wrong yet again, I think. Let's move on. Our next one is Swansea versus Barnsley. Get your thoughts in on this one. Swansea versus Barnsley. Swansea up there in fourth position, but Swansea got a rude awakening in the first half at Derby the other night, didn't they? They were somewhat taken to the cleaners in that first half, and they're going to have to bounce back from that. They're at home, at least in this one, and they have Barnsley coming to the Liberty Stadium. 4 wins in 5, and lots of stats being thrown out about Barnsley's form since lockdown now. Always make me chuckle, those stats where you're literally judging a league where the 3 best teams are taken out of the league halfway through the time of judging. But you know what I'm saying. It seems silly to pick it back from lockdown when obviously Leeds, West Brom and Fulham all scored loads of points and are then taken out. You know what I'm saying, don't you? But still, that doesn't mitigate the fact that Barnsley are in good form and have particularly been in good form since Ishmael took over. We've enjoyed watching them as well. I suppose the question is, can Swansea bounce back? I think as much as I like Barnsley's first team, I think Swans have just got the edge in quality, haven't they? Particularly squad-wise. But I suppose Barnsley's results are a bit more complete over that last 10 games there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins in the last 10 for Barnsley. Just the 4 for Swansea. But obviously a few draws in there makes it a little bit closer. Obviously Barnsley have picked up more points in that period. Who are Barnsley losing to? Well, Bournemouth, Blackburn, Brentford, Cardiff. Who are Swansea losing to? Well, the surprise one against Derby, and then Middlesbrough, and then Norwich as well. It's a tricky one to call, this one. Barnsley don't draw, do they? They're kind of all or nothing. All or nothing. Do Swansea bounce back or not? That's the question. Do you know what? I'm going to cheat on this one. I'm going to read your predictions first and then come back for mine. Where are we going? 1-1. 1-1. 1-0 Barnsley. 3-1 Swans. We'll give it a go and lose 2-1 or draw 1-1. Score draw, says Phil. Edward says, if Barnsley win this, January window is the most important in a while. Be well positioned, won't they? 1-0 Swans from Alex. Lewis says 2-1 Barnsley. Interesting. Barnsley have improved of late, says Chris. Swansea will react to a poor performance. That's the question, isn't it? Will they bounce back? 3-0 Swans. Oh, Styles suspended. That will make a difference, won't it? Football will be the winner. 2 good sides trying to play the right way. That's a good point, actually, Bart, because they do both play in the right way. Swansea are better defensively, though, aren't they? So I think you might have made my mind up for me there, Bart. 2-1 Swans, 2-1 Swans, 1-1. So I'm going to piggyback off Bart's comment there and say both teams will attack well, but we'll go for a home win. Badger says, sorry to pick you up, Ben. That's not like you, Badger. West Brom didn't pick up loads of points. I've looked into it. The point I was making is, which still stands, regardless of West Brom picked up lots of points, it's foolhardy to judge form on a league when 6 of the teams are different. So 6 of the teams literally came into that with 0 points, and there was, 9 games left. So Barnsley essentially have a 9-game head start on 6 of the teams, which is a quarter of the league. So yes, fine, West Brom didn't pick up loads of points, whatever. But the point I was making, I think, still stands. There we go. Right, we are moving on to Brentford. Brentford versus Reading. Another top 6 clash, that one, isn't it? This one at home for Brentford. And we'll get the elephant in the room out straight away. Reading will be without Lucas João, Yaku Maite, and Omar Richards, if you will, which was an issue against Norwich. Although they gave him a good game, but hey, Norwich don't lose tight games, do they? Norwich win tight games, and it's not enough to give Norwich a good game, is it? You've got to do a bit more than that, else you're going under. You know what I mean by give them a good game in inverted commas. There, Brentford in good form, a long undefeated run now. They'll be pleased that they're playing this one at home. I think bit spotty for Reading in the last 4. Couple of defeats creeping in there. Yes, so loads of draws actually for Brentford. Maybe bear that in mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 draws there. Only 4 wins. Flip that the other way around, and there'd be a couple of places higher for sure in the table. Reading, well, we were very congratulatory on them getting past the 4 straight defeats. But yeah, spotty the last 4, of course. Win over Forest, defeat to Birmingham, win over QPR, defeat to Norwich. I think in my head, and again, I'll cheat and look at your comments first. In my head, I don't think Reading are winning, but they may be able to get a draw. So I'm between a Brentford victory and a draw in this one. I'm wounded by your comment, Ben. You're all right, buddy. It's all good fun, isn't it? 3-1 Brentford, says Josh. 2-0. 2-1 to the Bees. 3-0 Brentford. 2-1. 2-1 to Brentford. Trust me. Never trust a man who says trust me. Game of the week. 3-3. 2-0 Brentford. Yet again, I'll trust Brentford to win at home because of Reading's forwards, leaky defence. 2-1 Reading. Brentford starting to get into top gear. Brentford to edge this Reading to March. Brentford, no João and Maite, massive blow. 2-1. Swift was due to play an under-23 game this week, which was postponed due to COVID. Interesting. So he'll be back after Christmas, and we expect a sort of new year maybe for John Swift, especially to be starting games. They could do him. I suppose we've still got Elise in there and Ajaria, who are excellent players. So all logic and all of your predictions are going for Brentford, and it makes a hell of a lot of sense. So I'm going to do my one silly one where I say add up all the logic and then disagree with it because the Championship is the Championship. So I'll go for a draw just because the Championship. But I do suspect Brentford will win. But I always throw one of those in there. Anywho. Right, let's go on. Birmingham versus Borough. Karanka versus Warnock. We have one of these every week, don't we? Birmingham versus Borough. Let's have a look. Borough snuck on up there back into 7th position, haven't they? Am I on split screen? I am not. There we go. So Borough in 7th, 3 victories in the last 5. Get your predictions in this one. Birmingham versus Borough. Only 5 defeats for Borough. Only 14 goals conceded in the 19. Birmingham, 19 conceded in the 19. So that defence has slipped a little bit. The 7 defeats now. Back-to-back wins followed by back-to-back defeats. I've said this a few times. I actually quite like where Birmingham's squad is now. If Karanka can get them to execute and not be too defensive and dour. So there is the Birmingham run. However, that's only 2 wins in 10, isn't it? Who did they beat? Reading and Bristol City, who have been both in the top 6 for a lot of the season, haven't they? So, a tricky one. Who do they lose to? Cardiff, Watford, Barnsley, Bournemouth, and Wycombe. What about Borough? Well, they've gone very spotty since the Norwich defeat there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, 4 wins, 4 defeats. So, yeah, but good recently, haven't they? And back-to-back wins. They've managed to punish Luton and Millwall. I think I'm right in saying Borough are disproportionately better at home than they are away. Oh, actually, they're quite bad away from home. Look at that. Draw, loss. So with that being said, I don't see them winning. But look at Birmingham's home record. It's even worse. Oh, dear. Is this one going to be a draw? let me get in there ahead of you guys. I'm going to say a low-scoring draw because neither of these teams are winning. Crikey, I've got 3 draws in the first 6. I'll have to remedy that in the second 6. What are you guys saying here? What have we got? Badger says, do you reckon there'll be Premier League interest for Tony in the win? Yes, I do, actually, Badger. I think, this is just my opinion, I think he's proven himself to be better than we thought he was. And he looks really good. So, yeah, you often get clubs, they try and go in there early because the price, you know, if it's Brentford, the price is going up to 25 million straight away in the summer, don't you? Anyway, so I just wanted to read that. Borough 2-0, Borough 1-0, 1-1, draw, Borough 2-0, 0-0, draw. Prediction the ball will spend more time in the air and the floor. I think you're there. But you've got to save the silly pick for press. Actually, you're right, Bart. Fair point. 0-0 says Alex, 1-0, 2-1. No shots on target, no shots in the game. Borough win 1-0. Own goal off Collins' backside. Love it. Borough 0-2. Brad says 1-1. I'm going to stick with my draw. A lot of people are going with the same sort of reasoning as me. Right, Stoke versus Blackburn. Again, elephant in the room. Stoke now without Tyrese Campbell. Tyrese Campbell and Sam Clucas, who I think is important for them as well. Lots of people having injury problems. Get your predictions in, guys. Stoke and Michael O'Neill versus Blackburn and Tony Mowbray. And we should just say now, Harvey Elliott and Adam Armstrong, because obviously that's the first thing we need to consider when we're talking about Blackburn. And the idea that basically, if those two can play well and combine, Blackburn really have a chance against anyone this season, the way that sort of duo is playing out. Would you believe my missus, Shaylee, who watches a girl called Olivia, who is a reality TV star, who is married, I think, to Bradley Dack, actually informed me that Bradley Dack would be returning soon as well. So well done, Shaylee, for watching Olivia, who is Bradley, I'm sure she's lovely, who is Bradley Dack's wife. And she knew more about that than I did, which I was very impressed with, I do have to say. Stoke in 8th, only 2 points in the last 3, really churned it out of QPR, didn't they? Blackburn, late victory over Rotherham, 98th minute. Ouch. Let's have a look. So the recent run there, I mean, the grind has slowed down for Michael O'Neill, hasn't it? Just 7 points in the last 5, 8 points in the last 6, 8 points in the last 7 since those back-to-back wins. So they need one. Obviously, I'll reiterate, can they keep Elliott and Armstrong quiet? They're very good defensively, Stoke. Very stoic, static at times, but stable, to use lots of ST words. Just those 2 defeats in there for Blackburn in the last 10 against Norwich and Bristol City. We did the Bristol City game, didn't we, as a watch-along there. So I have to say the pattern in that Bristol City game was that despite having Elliott and Armstrong, they couldn't play through a mid-low block from Bristol City. So I wonder, does this one end up going the same way? I could honestly call this home, away, or draw. I just think without people like Campbell and Clucas. Right, I'm going to go away win. Why the hell not? Away win here. Elliott and Armstrong to do it for Tony Mowbray. Let's see what you guys are saying over here in the comments. What do we got? 4-0 Blackburn, 1-1, 1-1, 3-2 Stoke, 2-1 Stoke, 2-1. Rovers, high scoring draw. Ben Bloom scoop, yeah. Reality TV scoop, I think, if my missus is concerned. 1-0 Stoke. Blackburn don't beat teams above them. Fine, agreed with that. 0-0 Stoke pragmatic. Ray, we'll talk about that on Dearly Departed, my friend. That's coming out later. Already filmed it. I can see Stoke tightening up about this after the injuries draw in this one. Blackburn 1-0. 2-0 Blackburn. 1-1 since Brereton's injury. We've been nowhere near as good going forward. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I hadn't considered that. And that's why it's so great to have you guys who actually watch these teams every week. I try and watch as much as I can, but I can't get little nuggets like that, can I, without listening to you guys? So good point there. I've got to stick with my away win, though. because I have made it now. Right. Shall we throw some stuff up in the air? Because good luck with this one, guys. Preston versus Bristol City. And I think we're in arms flung up in the air mode for a few of these now coming towards the end of the show. It is Preston versus Bristol City. Bristol City, spotty as anything over the last games, and Preston just ludicrously erratic across the season. Bristol City are much better positioned in the table, 7 points ahead. They managed to. There's one thing you will say about Bristol City. They get results when they're in games, don't they? 9 wins would intimate that. And Preston, 10 defeats. Already, they're like the opposite of Bristol City. If Bristol City have a sniff of a win, they seem to get it. If Preston have a sniff of a defeat, hey, maybe that's just made my prediction in Bristol City's favour. Bristol City still struggling without Mawson, particularly at the back, and Sessegnon at full-back. There's a few more injured in there that I'm forgetting. Preston without Pearson now after he just came back. I think they're sort of settling on the majority of their team, but you still get Reece up front one week, then Maguire up front the next week, and then Barkhuizen up front the next week. Sinclair looked to have been playing well a few sort of rounds back. Let's have a look at the recent results, and you'll see why this is a difficult one to call. So Preston's is win, loss, win, loss, loss, win, draw, win, loss, loss. Bristol City's is win, 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 draw, loss, win, loss, loss. So they could do anything, but look at the last 2 games for both, defeats for both. I'm going to go with my COD theory that I just happened upon, that Bristol City win tight games and Preston lose tight games. So I'm going to go for another randomly generated Bristol City away win in this one. That's my reasoning. You don't have to like it. That's what I'm going with. What are you guys saying here after my completely nonsensical prediction there? Here we go. 4-0 Preston. Oh, they are a bogey team, aren't they? Yeah, we have these, don't we? 1-0 Bristol City. A win for Preston. Naki Wells to get a hat-trick of missed penalties. They won't let him take the third one. Didn't Martin Palermo do that once? 3 missed pens. Need a 3-sided coin to decide my prediction, yeah. 10-0 to either team, fine, yeah. 0-0. Only game on a Friday. Oh, we watch along. Sorry, I forgot about that. Join me for that one tonight. So hopefully it's not 0-0 and we'll enjoy it. Away win, 3-1 Bristol City, 3-1 Preston, 2-1 Bristol City. I like Naki Wells, Badger. 3-1 Preston. Typical win for Preston and Bristol City in this one. Is it Ipswich game's been called off? Oh dear. That's one less on the Saturday Super Stream for us to do. Never mind. I'm sure Dara the Explorer will be happy. Draw, says Chris. 2-1 Preston. Away win. Fine 2-1 City. Nice. 5-5. Yes, 5-5 for the watch long, Carl. Do it. Come and join me tonight. 8 o'clock kickoff, so a bit of a late one. 7:45 start for that one. Let's hope it's complete carnage and there's a ton of goals. Chris Martin always scores at Deepdale. Like David Nugent always scores at Portman Road. Hey? Oh, God. I can stand the sight of that bloke. Millwall versus Forest, everybody. Millwall versus Forest. And both sides got very, very important victories in the last round, didn't they? Millwall winning away at Bristol City. Forest, even more importantly, given the position the game took place in the table, beating Sheffield Wednesday. Been a hell of a slide by Millwall. 10 games without a victory. I wonder if they can go on a little stable streak now. Forest must have been a similar number, 6 or 7. We'll have a look. But they will be slightly concerned by Derby's very good performance against Swansea in terms of getting away from the bottom. It could be if Forest moves slowly, Derby may move faster, given the evidence I've seen of both. I do still think they'll both move away. So Keep an eye on that. Rotherham, QPR, Coventry fans in those positions above. There's the recent games, and God, it's only 3 defeats for Millwall. The stupid thing is, if they were to, I don't know, win 2 and draw 2 of their next 4, you start to be saying, oh, it's only 3 defeats in 14 or whatever that ends up being. So, yes, Rowett and Houghton, with both sides going into Christmas. This smells like a draw, doesn't it? Doesn't it? I know I've already predicted a few. Can you see Forest going there and winning? I can't. Not at the moment. And I just think those 2 managers would shake hands on it and go and have their Christmas dinner, wouldn't they? Draw. I've only got 2 home wins in this round so far. That doesn't make any sense, does it? What have we got here for your predictions for Millwall? Beers and Ben tonight. Do it now. Actually, I need to go and... Actually, I might do beer tonight instead of wine. Let me know. Maybe I'll do a poll. What shall I drink tonight to get through Preston versus Bristol City? Millwall. Right, let's do this properly. Forest 1-0. Millwall 1-0. We should have signed Nugent. At least it would have stopped him scoring against us, Bits. 1-1 draw. We will get a Bits' bet for tonight. Have you sent me one already, Bits? He's probably very organised. 1-1, 0-0, 2-1. Forest to nick this one. 2-1. Millwall win. 1-0. Forest pick up some momentum with Grabham back. Already scored, didn't he? Forest 2-0. Millwall. Forest 1-0. Rowett loves to beat Forest, Ben. He won't lose. This one has a very good record. Interesting. 1-0 Wall. 0-0. 1-1. Watford to win the league. Is that Triple H, the wrestler? There. Time to play the game. Forest 1-0. Chris has gone for a home win. Unbeaten against Forest. Rowett has become the new Tinkerman, trying to find his best 11. Yeah, will he now, Jimmy? Will he keep it? So, yes. Cider, obviously. Not a great fan of cider. Shaylee likes Koperberg. Is it? But weird kind of girly flavours. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Right. What did I go for? I went for a draw. So we will move on to, Sheffield Wednesday. Jake, who's a good Wednesday YouTuber, messaged me earlier telling me he's really worried. He's a Sheffield Wednesday fan about the non-payment of the wages and whether Chansiri is just going to go into, who are the guys at Hull? The Arabic owners at Hull. Someone will tell me in the comments. The Alams. He's worried that Chansiri is just going to go like the Alams and just say, I've spent enough. I'm not getting to the Premier League. I'm done. I'm pulling the money out, and we'll let it run. We'll let it run as a going concern and try and break even and minimise all the losses. And we'll see where that goes. We all know where that goes. It goes into League One, doesn't it? So big worrying times for Sheffield Wednesday if Chansiri does indeed decide to throw the towel in. If they don't pay their players as well, there could be an investigation from either the PFA and then the EFL. And then you could literally be talking another points deduction, couldn't you? So, look, Sheffield Wednesday, great club, but in a bit of a tiz at the moment. At the bottom of the table, 9 points from 19. Add the 6 on, and they've scored 15, which still would be a bottom 3 side. So, with or without the points deduction, relegation. A few of the Wednesday fans were a bit sceptical about the selection and Barry Bannon playing down the left. I think he's had Dominic Iorfa playing in central midfield. I expected Pulis to be able to do this. I have to say, I rate Pulis and his experience, but it's just not happening. The question is, can they get a win against in-form Coventry, who are on a lovely run? Look at the lack of red splurges on that. And let's just paint the big picture. Coventry were in League One last season. So this is an unbeaten run from a newly promoted team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, 3 wins, 5 draws in there. That sounds like 14 points from 8. Brilliant run from Coventry. Fingers crossed for those Sky Blues fans that this isn't the peak and they'll then tail off and it will and they haven't put enough gap in. They need to be consistent. But we have said about Cov, they've got some good attacking players. Their system's very, very stable and set up from last season. And can they just continue doing what... I bet that's what Mark Robins' message is. Look, we'll be good enough. Just keep doing what we do. We may go 3-4 games without a win at times, but just keep doing it. And God, then look at that Sheffield Wednesday run. So when Pulis joined, it was the Preston game, wasn't it? Because Windus got sent off after about 10 minutes, didn't he? And since then, it's 8 games, 5 defeats, 3 draws. Terrible stuff. Terrible, terrible stuff. They desperately need a victory. So out of sheer sympathy, I'm going to predict a Sheffield Wednesday victory because I haven't got very many home wins on here. So look, I'm going for Wednesday to win and start the run against my better judgment at the moment from what I'm hearing coming out from my Wednesday mates. Let's have a look here. What do we got? It's Jake. Yes, it is, Nat. Yeah. So I think he knows what he's talking about, doesn't he? So do you guys. Which championship team do I support? That's a loaded question, isn't it? I don't, sadly. I wish I did. The Alams, thank you. I got it in the end, didn't they? No, Iorfa, Flint, Burner, Van Aken, Odebajo, Lees. Only 2. Oh, dear. Have to finally play some attacking players. Deary me, I shouldn't have gone for that, should I? 2-0 Cov. Makes more sense than my prediction. Oh, Hamer's out. Okay, so weak central midfield, possibly for Cov then. Hamer, yeah, Calamage. Hamer got his 5th. He's been great, Hamer, as well, hasn't he? Good fun. Misses the next 2. Our 2 important players out. Still have Walker and Biamu up top, then I think we'll get the win. Good knowledge, Callum. Thank you. Come on Wednesday, 2-0 Wednesday. The good thing about Nat is he's always optimistic, isn't he? One of our Wednesday friends. 2-0 Cov. Chansuru is asking the fans to make a bid for the ground a few weeks. Oh, dear. He wants out, doesn't he? He's done. His tilt at getting that 100 million quid Premier League TV money has gone south. They should never have lost that playoff final against Hull, should they? It's all been downhill since then. Draw, please. Yeah, I bet, Noah. Despite everything, I think Wednesday might win. 1-1. Wednesday in a horrible rut. 2-1 Cov. 3-2 Cov. 1-1. 3-0 Cov. 4-0 Cov. Strange times when United's season is the highlight for Wednesday fans and Wednesday's season. It's terrible at Sheffield, isn't it? Christ. Can't win a game between. Maybe they should just pool resources and play 22 players, throw one of the games. What a season we are having. 3-0 football more important than money. Yeah. Come on, Ben. Yeah, right. Kelly out for 2 or 3 months. Hamer out. Could see it being a draw. 2-1 Cov and a Coventry win. So, yeah, look, I've gone for my sympathy vote there for Wednesday. But I do understand. But I do think, like the commentary friends we've got in here, Hamer and Kelly being out does weaken Cov in the middle. And if Pulis just decides to snarl up the central midfield, maybe they can get over them that way. Wycombe versus QPR, the Gareth Ainsworth derby. 2 to go, guys. Get your predictions in for Wycombe versus QPR. Thank you for your company this lunchtime. Always a great time hanging with you lot. Predicting the championship while the rest of the world shuts down outdoors. Get your predictions in. Wycombe versus QPR. You can see Rangers are on the slide, aren't they? Slip sliding away. 19 points from 19 games will likely keep you up a point per game, won't it? But you won't be far away from trouble, let's just say, with that points per game. Sofa score, for God's sakes. Always happens, doesn't it? Always happens. I thought it was my phone at first, but it's clearly not, is it? Wycombe go in my they lose tight games bracket. Competitive, aren't they? But 2 wins in 19 is less than Sheffield Wednesday and Derby. So Wycombe statistically are the least likely team to win in the entire division. Does it help that Wycombe are playing at home? A couple of draws, but then a couple of defeats to Coventry and Stoke of late. What's QPR's away form like? We've got a draw at Millwall, didn't they? And that win up at Derby in the midst. This is a difficult one to call, isn't it? Both sides struggling. You sort of, when you're talking QPR, you're always talking about Chair and Samuel to try and win them the game. When you're talking Wycombe, he's had different permutations up front, but they still have struggled for goals. And he's like put on Cashgit and Horgan and Wheeler and Akinfenwa, 4 or 5 McCleary, all on at the same time. So, I mean, look, if the Rangers slide continues, then this could even be a Wycombe win. So my question is, will Chair and Samuel have the quality to play through Wycombe and score? They don't concede too many goals. Do you know what? Sorry, Rangers fans. Let's go for a Wycombe home win. Let's go for Rangers to have 13 shots and 68% possession, but Wycombe to win 2-0 or some weirdness like that. Let's see what you guys are saying down there in those comments. What do we got? Sorry, Rangers fans. I know we've got a good few on here always. Ikpeazu is fit. He's huge as well, isn't he, Michael? Wycombe have a goal scorer for the first time this season. 1-0 Wycombe. QPR 1-0. 3-2 Wycombe. Save a seat for Ainsworth on the coach back. Yeah, definite link there, isn't there? 0-0, 1-1. Worry about Warburton if he can't get a result from it. Yeah, because, I mean, sorry, let me just bring the table back up. Let's say Wycombe do win. Then all of a sudden they would be 5 points behind Rangers, and one of the others could win as well, and it starts to be looking a bit iffy for Rangers, doesn't it? 1-0 Wycombe. Need to win whilst we still have Samuel, who'll be gone in January, or be in big trouble. Not good. Can't sack Warburton because can't afford the compensation. Ouch. Oh dear. Can we have a big Christmas wish for all our QPR and Wednesday mates who not optimistic at the moment, are they? 1-1, hoping for a draw would make Coventry's life easier. Indeed. Surely QPR must get something. Never say never. Yet another draw. Wycombe poor at home, Rangers poor away. 2-1 Rangers, 1-1. Must win for us boys, says James or Warburton. Going to have to go for sure. It's starting to get a bit tetchy for Warburton, isn't it? 2-1 Rangers. Wycombe don't win tight games. They lose tight games, in fact, don't they? Hoping for a draw as it will help out Coventry's position a lot. 2-0 Hoops. Ben's Championship team were promoted after winning the league. They're all my children, aren't they? No. My Championship team is, no longer a Championship team. Chair Boys versus Chair. Sorry, Blow. I didn't read that 2-2. QPR 1-0. 1-1. The Fridge will get the winner. Are you going to do fancy? Yes. I've got so much to do, Russ. So much to do. QPR 2-0. 2-1 Rangers, says Annie. My first Championship video since Leeds left. I'm ranked 70 in the world. No, you're not, Luke. 70 in the world. Holy hell, are you in my league? You must be at the top of it if you're 70 in the world. Goodness me. Sorry, our league. It was very arrogant for me, wasn't it? I take that back. Our league, of course. Everything here is ours. Rotherham versus Derby is our last one. Derby really trending in the right direction now, and a complete, sort of change of mindset on how we're looking at Derby. Really enjoyed them in the first half in the watch along on 2 nights ago, was it? I can't remember. But they're still in the bottom 3, but really strong signs now of a revival with Kazim Richards up top, giving them a bit of muscle, and Joshviak starting to play well. Bielik looked excellent in the central midfield. And Rooney, McLaren and Rosinia doing the business at the moment. Rotherham, well, they had that really good win against Bristol City, but then followed it up with another late defeat. However, Rotherham are much better at home than they are away from home. If they're going to pick up points this season, it'll be in the home games. It's just difficult to see after seeing Derby play so well in the midweek. It would be very disappointing for them not to follow that up with some kind of positive performance. However, Rotherham, well, they can do well at home, can't they? So I'm curious on this one. If this was at Derby, I'd have it as a banker there. What's Derby's away form like? Well, it was decent in the last two, and they went to Brentford and didn't lose. So the question is, when you're playing Rotherham, is can you cope with balls into your box from the wide area, and can you play through a sort of stoic, sturdy defence? So really, if Derby play anything like they did in the first half against Swansea, they'll definitely win. However, Rotherham will not play in the same way that Swansea did, in terms of Swansea were open and taken by surprise. Rotherham will not be open, and we'll have had a good look at the video of that first half. Let's see what you guys are saying in this. I just wonder whether the Derby guys would be happy with a draw and just continue to push on. What have we got here? 2-0 Rams, 1-1, 0-0, 2-2. Derby made Swansea look average. They did. Derby win, 3-0 Rotherham, 3-0 Rotherham, two of them. 2-1 Rams. Rooney got us hard to beat, look a lot better going forward. 2-0. 2-0 Derby. Pains me to say 2-1 Derby, 2-0 Rotherham, 2-2. 5-4. There's always one. 2-0 Derby. Can't see us conceding. That's the key, isn't it, Jack? Can they keep out Big Smith or Ladapo or, I don't know, Hekwer or one of those big guys coming up from a set play? 5-1, dearie me. 3-2. Respect Rotherham at home, but Derby will keep it tight and nick it. Rotherham will scrap a 1-1, played well at Bristol City. 2-1 Derby. Derby to win. The middle three will run Rotherham into the ground. Well, have you seen Rotherham play, Lewis? They'll just sit behind them. That's all they will do. So, yes. 3-0 Derby. 3-2 Derby. Bring Mick back. Mick McCarthy. 2-0 Rams. 2-0 Derby. Neither team want to lose. Matt Crooks will rob you. I'm going to go for a narrow Derby win. I don't think there'll be much in it, but like I said, I've seen a couple of things recently. I've seen Rotherham stink out the first half at Watford in person, and I saw Derby play beautifully in that home game against Swansea. So that is what I will go for. And that is our 12 championship games all done. And then we'll have got through, for God's sake, the 9 rounds in 5 weeks, for goodness sake. So thank you, everybody, for your help with the predictions today. Let me know how you got on at the end of the game week. You can do that, if you want, in the review show, which will be on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Or join me for the super stream tomorrow. As it happens, we should, all being well at home, be able to do Norwich and Cardiff as a watch-along at 12:30. Also, with all of that being said, a lot of you guys that I meet in here have been joining up on Patreon, which has been so flattering and wonderful. So what I do now is I hit stop on this and I go straight while I'm in this mode and I summarize all those predictions. So you get a 5-minute abridged version on Patreon. There's more Patreon exclusive content coming thick and fast, and you get to hopefully have me doing this full time. By the way, check out on Mondays as well now. I've started writing a championship column for tribalfootball.com. So the first one was up last week. Check that out. There'll be another one up on Monday. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Thank you for all of your comments. It is going to be, sorry, there's a couple more questions in there. I better answer them. Dilly departed for the midweek. I've recorded it, Hip. It's literally been processed. So I will upload it. I'll give this one time to breathe. I'll upload it about 2:30. It's in the can, though. And then I'll do a preview for tomorrow morning. Deary me. Is that a portrait of Pavarotti? It's me, Badger. Deary me. Thank you, Jed. Anyone who wants to look into Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Blue Marotti. remember in my football songs video, I did have a go at Pavarotti, didn't I? So you can check that out elsewhere on the channel. Right, I've got to get off. We've got the fantasy to do. We've got the watch along tonight. We've got the Dearly Departed preview. And I've got to upload the Dearly Departed review that I've already recorded. It's all go here, but we'll get a bit of a break over Christmas. I promise. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm going to pull these out. Oh, I need to give one more time. Sorry, Donovan Brothers. The Donovan Brothers are our fan sponsor here in loving memory of Michael of South East London, lifelong Millwall fan, admirer of this show. Great bunch, the Donovan Brothers. They are our sponsor. For the preview show, I need some food. Lay down in the dark room. Dearie me. Right. Thank you for watching, everybody. And it's over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.